Good morning, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video session, we are discussing about the irrigation engineering terminology and the various aspects related to irrigation engineering. We are also discussing about the history of irrigation engineering. In that session, we are discussing about the duty and delta. What are the duty and delta concepts? What are the factors and what are their relationship between the duty and delta? And how can we adopt that concept in our actual practice of duty and delta? Next, we are studying about the various irrigation efficiencies and the conservative use of water. Now, we are moving to the delta. Each crop requires a certain amount of water per hectare for its maturity, and the requirement of water may be different based on their crop duration and based on their nature of crop. Generally, if the total amount of water supplied to the crop is stored on the land without any loss, then there will be a thick of later standing on land. So that type of phenomena is called waterlogging. So we have to apply that much amount of water so we can get maximum utilization of water for our crops. The depth of water layer is known as delta for that crop. So whole depth of water layer we cannot supply at one time. So we have to divide it into the number of watering during this base period. In the previous session we are discussing about the base period or base, and generally it is denoted as delta and generally expressed in centimeter. Now, for the different types of crop, there have been in our Indian system, we have classified the different crops as per the Kharif crop and Rabi crop. Generally, the crop sown in the our monsoon season is called a Kharif crop, and in the our winter season is called Rabi crop. Rice is one of the important Kharif crop. Rice, maize, groundnut, and millet, and their water requirement is different during the base period. So for cultivation of rice, we have to require the 125 centimeter depth of water for the cultivation. For maize, we have required 45 centimeter of water, and for groundnut, 30 centimeter of water, and for millet is 30 centimeter of water. The requirement may be different based on the characteristic of soil also. Next is the Rabi crops. For cultivation of wheat, mustard, gram, and potato, we should require the different delta water for that cultivation like 42, 45, 30, and 75. Now, next concept is duty. Duty of water generally is defined as the number of water that can be irrigated by the constant supply of water at a rate of 1 cumex, or the it is in other words we are saying that the irrigating capacity of unit of water is called duty, and duty is generally denoted as D and expressed in hectare per cubic. Generally, duty varies through their soil condition and types of soil, plugging method, and application of water, and their application efficiency of different application methods. 1 cubic per day means 1 cubic 1 meter cube per second for 1 day at a constant rate, right? It is called the duty of water. For the crop rice, wheat, cotton, and sugarcane, there have been a duty in hectare per cumex is equal to 900 cumex water is required per hectare for rice cultivation. For wheat cultivation, 1800 cumex of water required per hectare, and for cotton cultivation, there have been a 1400 cumex water required for per hectare, and for sugarcane, 800 cumex per hectare water required. Now there have been different factors that I previously discussed that affecting the duty. First is the soil characteristic. If the soil of the canal bed is porous and the coarse grain, it leads to be more seepage loss and low duty. If soil is compact and loose grained, the seepage loss is less and the duty is higher. Because we have to put our water into our soil rich zone. We should not have to flow out the water to the gravitational zone. So we have to maximize our water for the readily available moisture. We have to convert that our water into readily available moisture because plant root cannot extract the gravitational water. That can only the 80% amount of water are capillary water uses. Next is the climatic condition. When the atmospheric temperature of the command area become high, so the evaporation and transpiration loss is more. So we have to apply more water for that particular crop. And so their duty become a low because per cumex of water irrigating capacity will be less. Next is the rainfall. If the rainfall is sufficient during the crop period, then so we have to require the less quantity of irrigation water and duty is more. We are knowing that if the monsoon season is better, so their watering requirement is become lesser. For the base period, when the base period is longer, the water requirement will be more because during the whole year the monsoon is not available in our country, so we have to put the more water for getting that types of crop that can be base period is 365 days or more. Next is the type of crop. So all the crops doesn't require the same quantity of water. So for sugarcane, wheat, and rice, that types of crop requires more water because their base period is more. Sometimes the some of the crop requirement for water is more. So they also depend on types of crop. Next is the topography of agricultural land. If the land has a slight slope duty, will high as water requirement as optimum. As the slope increases, duty increases because there is a wastage of water. Next is the method of plugging. We have also previously discussed that if the deep plugging by a tractor has been done, so the less quantity of water required and the duty is higher. Duty is generally the representation of their irrigating capacity of unit of water. For shallow plugging, the bullocks requires more quantity of water and duty is low. Next is the method of irrigation. Duty is high in case of perennial irrigation system as compared to inundation irrigation system because in the perennial irrigation system the head regulator is used and when required then the farmer is supplied water to their crops, but in the inundation system the canal running time is fixed and as required or not required, so farmer have to supply the some amount of water to their crop. Next is the water tax. If some tax is imposed on the basis of volume of water consumption, the farmer will use the water economically and duty will be high. If the charges are levied, then anyone is use that particularly on their based on their requirement, not to wastage of that resources. Next is the methods of improving duty. Proper plugging. Generally, that is the vice versa of factor affecting duty. If we are adopting the proper plugging methodology, so that holding the moisture more into the soil and our duty will be higher. Next is the methods of supplying water. Generally, it is decided according to the field and the soil condition. Furrow method generally used for crop sown in row and that contour method is generally used for the hilly areas and the basin method is used for orchard type farming like our vegetable and fruit farming. Next is the flooding method. Generally, the flooding method is used in the plain lands. In that, we have fully submerged our field into the water, and after we are sowing our crops. Next is the canal lining. If the canal lining is proper and concrete lining is preferred, so we are reducing the percolation loss of canal should be lined according to the site condition. Next is the transmission losses. To reduce, this canal should be taken close to irrigatable land as far as possible. Next is the crop rotation. If the crop rotation should be adopted to increase the moisture retention capacity and fertility of soil. Implementation of tax. It is the one of the measures to improving the duty as I previously discussed. Next is the relationship between duty and delta. Generally, D is equal to duty, B is equal to base period or base in days, and delta in meter or centimeter. For that equation purpose, we are using a delta in meter. From the definition of 1 cubic of water flowing continuously for B days gives a depth of water delta or an area of D hectare. We are considering the standard formation like for some of the crop having a B days and the depth of water delta or an area and land area is D hectares. Right? Land area is D hectare. So 1 cubic for 1 day gives delta over a D by B hectares. Right? 1 cumex for 1 day delta or D by B hectares. Or 1 cumex for B days give a delta or D by B hectare. Or 1 cumex for 1 day is equal to D by B into delta hectare meter. For 1 cumex 1 day is equal to D by B into delta hectare meter is the our general formulation of our first formula from the understanding of definition of duty. Again, we are said that we have to convert into the hectare meter. We have to put their formulas, convert their formulas into the cubic day to hectare meter. So the 1 cubic day is equal to 1 into 24 into 60 into 60. So 86,400 meter cube of water in a day. So we have to divide it with the 10,000. So we have to divide 86,400 meter cube by the 10,000 and we can get the 8.64 hectare meter. 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 meters square. We are knowing that and put that value into the from equation 1 and 2. So d by b into delta is equal to 8.64. If you want to find out the one of the quantities from that and if you have available any of the two quantities, we can find out any one quantities by using that equation. Delta is equal to 8.64 b by d in meter. We have previously discussed that we have to put the value of delta in meter. Next is the command area. The area which lies on downstream side of the project to which water can reach by a gravity action. There have been three types of command area. Gross command area, culturable command area and unculturable uncultivated and unculturable cultivated areas. In the gross command area is generally the total area lying between the drainage boundaries which can be irrigated by the canal system of our reservoir. Next is the cultivable command area. It is the net area which can be irrigated by a canal system. It includes the all land on which cultivation is possible through all area may not be under cultivation at the time. It includes all land on which cultivation is possible. All the areas may not be under the cultivation at a time. So it is the cultivable command area. It is called CCA. So the CCA is equal to CCA plus uncultivable area or CCA is equal to GCA minus uncultivable area. irrigatable command area ICA. It is the part of cultivable command area which can be irrigated. All the CCA cannot be irrigated because of high elevation. Now, next is the intensity of irrigation. It is the ratio of area irrigated per season to the total irrigatable areas of small project is based on this. It is called intensity of irrigation. Now the types of soil. Generally, in our country or the plain terrain, different types of soil is available like alluvial soil, clay soil, black cotton soil, sandy soil, and there have been different moram type soil. First, we are discussing about the alluvial soil. Alluvial soil formed by the deposition of silt carried by the river water during the flood. It is called also the delta region of soil. Silt is formed due to weathering action of rock by heavy current of river water in hilly region. So when the river are passing through the hilly region and they carrying large amount of sediment with them, and when the rivers are flowing through the plain terrain, they are sedimented on that base. Generally, this type of soil is found in Gangetic Plain and Brahmaputra Plain. It is called Ganga River Basin also. Next is the black cotton soil. It is originated by weathering action on rock like a granite and basalt. Mainly, this type of soil is found in Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat. It should have a property is sticky when wet and very hard when dry. It is suitable for cultivation of cotton. Next is the red soil. It is generally formed by weathering action of rock of igneous and metamorphic groups. Water absorbing capacity of red soil is lower. Generally, this type of soil is found in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, West Bengal, and Maharashtra. Laterite soil. This type of soil is found by the weathering action of laterite rocks. Yellowish red in color, having a good drainage property. It is found in Kerala, Karnataka, Orissa, and Assam. Now we are moving to the consumptive use of water. It is defined as the total quantity of water used for the growth of plant by transpiration and the amount of lost by evaporation. It is also known as evapotranspiration. It expresses in hectare or depth of water in meter. The values of consumptive use of water is vary from crop to crop and time to time and place to place. In other words, we are also said that consumptive use means evapotranspiration. We are knowing that evaporation is a process by which the water is changed from the liquid or solid state into the gaseous state through the transfer of heat energy. Now the transpiration, the evaporation of water absorbed by the crop which is used directly in the building of plant tissue in a specified time limit. It doesn't include the soil evaporation. It is only include the plant leaves are evaporate some amount of water when uh, they are processing their food by using the chemical reaction and photosynthesis process. Now the evapotranspiration is sum of amount of water transpirated by a plant during the growth process and the amount that is evaporated from the soil and vegetation in the domain occupied by the growing of crop. Generally, it is nominated by ET, evapotranspiration, and it should be measured in mm per day. Now, factors that affect the evapotranspiration. There have been three factors that are affect the evapotranspiration: weather parameter, crop parameter, and management and environmental aspect are factor affecting ET. Now we are seeing the weather parameter. The principal weather conditions affecting the evapotranspirations are radiation, air temperature, humidity, and wind speed. If the sun radiation is higher, so our evaporation rate is become higher. If the ambient air temperature or air flowing air temperature is become higher, so the evaporation rate also higher. If humidity is higher, then also some uh, some types of evaporation may become a increase. Next is the wind speed. If the wind speed is higher due to the surface tension effect, the evaporation loss will also become a higher. Next is the crop characteristic that affect the evapotranspiration. Crop type, variety of crop, development stage, crop height, crop roughness, ground cover, and crop rooting depth. Crop type is generally play a great role in the effect of evapotranspiration. If we are showing the larger leaf crops, that should increase the evapotranspiration effect. If our crop leaves are smaller, then it reduces the evapotranspiration effect. Next is the variety of crop. There have been single crop having a multiple varieties, but its growth characteristic is different. So it should increase or decrease the evapotranspiration rate. Next is the development stage. After the fully developing of crop, that should require the more water, and that some of the portion of water are evaporated into the atmosphere because of its size of plant and their leaf size. Next is the crop height. If the crop height is more, so that can be affected by the wind speed, and their evapotranspiration rate become a higher. Next is the ground cover. In the present scenario, we are using the mulching paper to reducing our evaporation loss from the soil. That can reduce evaporation rate up to the 40%. So our ground cover is made by some artificial covering material. So the evaporation rate is lower. Crop rooting depth. If our crop rooting depth is more, then evapotranspiration effect will be less. Now, third factor is management and environmental factor. Generally, the soil salinity is an important factor which reduce the soil evapotranspiration. The soil salinity become a lower, so the rate of evapotranspiration become a higher. But soil salinity doesn't helpful in crop cultivation. It is one of the barrier in crop cultivation. Poor land fertility. If the land fertility is lesser, then the vegetative cover and the plant growth is lower. So the covering of land is become a reduced and the evapotranspiration losses become a higher. Limited application of fertilizer. If we are applying the over fertilization or the lesser fertilization, so that practices are affect our products production and the vegetative growth process. Next is the absence of control of disease and pest and poor soil management. If we are not controlling the disease, pest, and our soil management is poor, if we are not plugging soil properly, or we are not adopting any evaporation control measures to our soil, then the losses of evapotranspiration become higher. It should also reduce the crop development and the soil evapotranspiration. So we have to adopt that management and environmental factors for reducing the soil evapotranspiration process. Other factors affect that evapotranspiration are ground cover plant density and the soil water content. If the water table is higher, then the temperature of soil become a lesser. But it should not suggested that the higher water table are useful for crop cultivation. It is only reduce the rate of evapotranspiration. The effect of soil water content on evapotranspiration is conditioned preliminary by the magnitude of water deficit and the type of soil. Too much water will result in waterlogging, which might damage the root and limit root of water uptake by inhibiting respiration. We are knowing that we have also required some of the voids to getting the air or other natural respirations for our plant growth. Now, the determination of evapotranspiration. How can we determine the rate of evapotranspiration? Evapotranspiration is not easy to measure, but specific devices and accurate measurement of various physical parameters or the soil water balance in the Lasimer are required to determine the ET. Lasimer tank is generally the equipment we are using for measuring the evapotranspiration. These methods are expensive, demanding, and used for the research purpose only. This should give the permanent ideas about the evapotranspiration, but there have been many factors affecting evapotranspiration. So perfect recording of evapotranspiration is very difficult in case of larger field. It remains the important for evaluating evapotranspiration estimate and obtained by more indirect methods. Now, first method is that water balance method. In the water balance or water budget method is measurement of continuity of flow of water. In this method consists of drawing up a balance sheet of all the water entering and leaving the particular catchment of drainage basin. In the water balance equation can be written as ET is equal to I plus P minus RO minus DP plus CR plus SF plus SW. Generally, the term is represent I is equal to irrigation, P is equal to rainfall, RO is equal to surface runoff, DP is equal to deep percolation, CR is equal to capillary rise, SF and SW are the change in subsurface flow and change in soil water content respectively. So that are the equation we are used for calculation of our evapotranspiration. Next is the Lasimer method. In that type of method, we are using a watertight tank of the cylindrical shape, having a generally dia about 2 meter and depth about 3 meter, is placed vertically in ground. The tank is filled with the sample soil, and the bottom of tank consists of the sand layer and the pan for collecting a surplus water. The consumptive use of water is measured by the amount of water required for satisfactory growth of plant within tank. So we are calculating the consumptive use Cu is equal to WA minus WT. Water applied minus water drain off. Now that is the one pictorial representation of evapotranspiration measuring equipment. For that, we are adding the some soil to the bottom layer of our Lasimer or tank, and we are growing some of the vegetations. For that, we should have to calculate their evapotranspiration for that types of vegetation. Like in that case, we are getting the grass, and we are adding the water to soil and grass both also, and some of the rainfall is also added, like to present our natural situation that should arise on the our actual practices. After that, some of the waters are evaporated from that Lasimer tank, and we are measuring the moisture content of our soil, and we are getting the how much amount of water are uh, drain out or the evaporated from this tank. Field experiment method. Some fields are selected for experiment. The quantity of water applied in such a way that it is sufficient for satisfactory growth of crop. There should be no percolation or deep runoff. If there is any runoff, it should be measured and deducted from total quantity of water applied. Next is the soil moisture study. We have taken several plots of the land are selected where irrigation water is to be supplied. The soil samples are taken from the different depth at the root zone of the plants before and after irrigated, and then the water content of soil samples are determined by the laboratory test. The depth of water removed from the soil is determined by dr is equal to pwd upon d. dr is equal to depth of water removed in meter. P is equal to percentage of water content, and W is equal to specific gravity of soil, and D is equal to depth of soil in meter. The total quantity of water removed in 30-day period is calculated. Then the curve of water consumption versus time is prepared. From this curve, the water consumption for any period can be calculated. Next is the irrigation efficiencies. This topic we are covering in our next session. I hope in this video lecture you are understanding the concept of duty and delta and the various phenomena of evapotranspiration. So in this topic we are discussing in our next lecture. Thank you.